Good evening and welcome to this virtual board meeting of the Board of School Directors of School District of Springfield Township. There was an executive session that was ours, and if we could have a roll call, Mr. King.
Mr. Bedard.
Here.
Mr. DeFranco.
Here.
Dr. Atlin.
Here.
Ms. Jordan.
Here.
Mr. Lapidus.
Here.
Ms. Sarsfield.
Here.
Ms. Lipinski.
Here.
Dr. Taratuski.
Here. Okay. I just wanted to welcome everyone to this meeting. I hope everybody's managing well in this new time of socializing. And I want to extend a thank you to our superintendent, our administration, and our teachers for all the work that they've been doing since the governor announced the closing of our schools to try to get some connection between our teachers and our students, and to firsthand that it's a lot of work and there's a lot of details that need to be worked out. I know they've been working tirelessly on that. So thank you so much. I'm going to open it now. Are there any public comments on agenda items? Okay. Seeing none. I want to announce that the Board of School Directors suspends all policies of the board and administrative regulations of the administration for the duration of the pandemic-induced school closure as follows. A, to the extent that they are inconsistent with the limitations placed by the pandemic, including but not limited to changes to policy 006 to permit moving to a virtual platform for conducting school board meetings, school board committee and regular board meetings. B, if reasonably necessary to protect the health and safety of students or employees. Or C, if compliance with what is required by law and responding to the pandemic and orders, proclamations of the governor and or Commonwealth of Pennsylvania will be unnecessarily impeded. Sorry about that. Approval of minutes, February 4th, interim meeting, board minutes L, February 18th, 2020, regular meeting, board minutes M. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a motion? And a second.
Second.
Okay. Any comments or questions on the board meeting minutes? Okay, Mr. King?
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? And the motion carries.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Taratuski, that first
Yeah.
reading was actually a motion that should be voted on. The
Oh,
suspension.
the suspension of the board policy?
Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me. I apologize for that. So let's go back to that. Okay, I didn't notice this was a motion. Thanks. Okay. So I would like to make a motion to suspend the board policies and administrative regulations for the board meeting. The Board of School Directors suspends all policies of the board and administrative regulations of the administration for the duration of the pandemic-induced school closures as follows. To the extent that they are inconsistent with the limitations placed by the pandemic, including but not limited to changes to policy 006 to permit moving to a virtual platform for conducting school board committee and regular board meetings. B, if reasonably necessary to protect the health and safety of students or employees. Or C, if compliance with what is required by law and responding to the pandemic and orders, proclamations of the governor and or Commonwealth of Pennsylvania will be unnecessarily impeded. Is there a motion?
Motion.
And a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? Okay, Mr. King?
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries.
Walter, can you unmute? Or can you unmute, Walter?
Yes, I can. Apparently, I'm able to, yes.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay, approval of Treasurer's Report G. Is there a motion?
Motion.
And a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? Okay, Mr. King?
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All
Okay.
opposed?
Nope. All good.
And the motion carries.
No reports and information tonight. Administrative report, Dr. Hacker.
Thank you, Dr. Taratuski, and thank you for those kind words before. As you stated, it is unquestionably one of the most challenging times that many of us have ever experienced, and we're all grappling with a very different and a new reality. But I do want to take this opportunity to not only thank the board, but also all of our staff members, including our administrators, who I know are working incredibly hard in order to keep things going. This is incredibly challenging for them. They literally were asked to drop everything within one afternoon and prepare to go online and pick up as if nothing had happened and resume instruction in pretty much the same ways that they had been delivering it in person to all of their students. So I do want to emphasize that it's a huge task for many of them, even though they had done online learning with students, it was in a limited fashion. And they were taking advantage of the fact, and one of the beauty parts about education that we all love is the ability to be in a classroom setting and be in front of students and to interact with them and to see their expressions and to talk with them and to have little sidebar chats where needed. All of that goes out the window when you're conducting instruction in a virtual platform. And so they were asked to adapt, as we all have been trying to adapt as best we can over this 2-week period. Next week, the rubber hits the road as we begin continuity of education, as the Pennsylvania Department of Education has called it. And we're asking everyone to step up their game in terms of providing expectations and guidelines and requirements for instruction, which will include some fashion of grading at each of the levels. I know our administrators have been working extraordinarily hard in order to make this happen, not only from an instructional standpoint, but as Mr. Oliver mentioned, from a technology standpoint as well. Many of you may have already seen that we've already put out a survey. We're trying desperately to be able to meet the needs of many families, including those who have more than 2 children at home, or who, like Mrs. Sarsfield mentioned before, she and her husband are online all the time for work. That doesn't always give children an opportunity to get on computers as well. So we're trying to resolve this by the issuance of additional Chromebooks or iPads as needed in order to help our families. I also just want to take a quick moment to commend all of the individuals who volunteered their time, including so many of our food service workers, to come in, prepare breakfasts and lunches that we were able to distribute. We distributed hundreds of those meals last week. That is still going on, and now for the future, we actually have a delivery service in place, again, with volunteers who have volunteered their time in order to go out to homes to deliver food so that our children can be fed. So I'm really proud of the efforts that have been put into place to make sure all of these things are going on. So I just want to thank all of our staff members, all of our administrators, as these new expectations and guidelines kick into effect. And finally, I just want to say it's my fondest hope and desire, and sorry, I'm getting emotional when I say this, but this will all be over soon. Obviously, the health and the welfare of all of our families is at the foremost of my thoughts at this time. I send my best wishes to all of our families, to all of our students, and to all of our staff members. I wish you all well. For those of you who unfortunately have been impacted economically by this and who might be out of work, Again, I send my heartfelt wishes to you that this will be over soon, that the economic crisis will end as soon as the medical crisis ends, so that we can all get back to doing what is normal in our lives. So I send everyone my best wishes, my love, and my thoughts and prayers. Thank you, Dr. Taratuski.
Thank you, Dr. Hacker. I think that really outlines all of the things that our district does. It's not only education, but we do feed our students too, and we support our community here. So thank you so much for all you're doing.
You're welcome. We all really do care.
Okay, so let's move on to new business. We're going to, I would like to make a motion to approve items 1 through 6 on the agenda of new business. Is there a motion?
Motion.
And a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? Okay, Mr. King?
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? The motion carries.
Okay. Number 7, Springfield Township Education Association. Board of School Directors approves the collective bargaining agreement between the Springfield Township Education Association, STEA, and the School District of Springfield Township beginning July 1, 2020 through June 30th, 2023. Is there a motion?
Motion.
And a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions?
I'd like to comment. First of all, I see that Kristen Ward and Susie Held are attending virtually. Thanks to both of you for being in attendance this evening. Kristen and I actually were emailing with one another today, and I hope both of you are doing well and managing well at home. I just want to extend my sincere thanks and appreciation to Kristen, to Susie, and to Pat Cody, who unfortunately went through a serious surgery several weeks ago, but apparently is doing very well. All of them participated in and contributed greatly to the development of our early retirement incentive program, which was highly successful. We're always sad to lose wonderful, dedicated veteran teachers as a result of their retirement, but of course, when we offer an ERIP, it's beneficial in terms of releasing some funding that we can put towards helping us to accomplish our goal of settling the contract. Kristen, Susie, and Pat were all wonderful to deal with and to work with. So I really want to thank them for all of their efforts. There were significant healthcare concessions that STEA made in order to have this contract come to fruition, and I appreciate that greatly. They all, of course, were greatly aided and informed by the stellar work that Emily Kerr did in terms of reaching out to our healthcare providers and researching all of the different kinds of benefits that were available and what really we could do in terms of suggestions for helping to get some concessions in those benefits. And of course, to Ken, who is a master at multiple Excel spreadsheets all at the same time, who uses his interactive spreadsheet in order to assist us in terms of what can we do in order to impact the salary guide and to ensure that the increases that we'd like to be able to give to our staff are reasonable in terms of the Act 1 index and the challenges that we have in terms of trying to keep our budget and our tax increases at a reasonable level. So my sincere thanks to all of those people for all of the hard work, for our very, very quick turnaround in terms of making this happen, and for working with us to schedule meetings on a very, very consistent basis so that we could get this accomplished. Obviously for Ken, the next job ahead that we are very much committed to is working on the budget and not only hoping to make all of this pass, but given these uncertain economic times, to try to bring in a very reasonable budget that takes into consideration what our residents are facing at this time.
Thanks, Nancy. Okay, any other comments or questions? Okay, Mr. King?
Motion was made and seconded. Everybody in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? The motion carries.
All right, thank you.
Congratulations.
Yay.
Congratulations, Kristen, Susie, and the rest of the faculty. That's great. Payment of staff. Number 8, the Board of School Directors authorizes the payment of non-essential support and confidential staff at the regular rate of pay for the time period of March 16th through March 29th, 2020, subject to the requirement and understanding that said personnel may work make-up days scheduled later in the current year and compliance with any applicable laws, collective bargaining agreements, or other binding contractual commitments. Is there a motion?
Motion.
And a second.
Second.
Any comments or questions?
Just a quick comment. I just want to let everyone know that we are expecting that tomorrow, both the House and the Senate are going to approve some legislation which would allow for the continuation of compensation for all support staff and non-essential employees, as well as confidential employees. So this particular motion would actually be moot should that legislation pass, but we fully anticipate that it will, which will mean payment will continue for these individuals during these hard times.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Okay. Mr. King?
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And the motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Are there any public comments on non-agenda items? And this is the opportunity for our attendees to speak. Okay. Seeing, oh, we have one comment from Kristen Ward. Hi, Kristen.
Hi, can you hear me?
We
Yes.
can, yes, thank you.
Okay, I just wanted to take this time and thank the school board, Emily Kerr, Ken King, and Dr. Hacker so much for all the support that you continually give all the teachers in the district. It helps us support our kids, and I think I can speak on behalf of the entire STA when we tell you how fortunate we feel to work for Springfield.
Thank you, Kristen.
Thanks.
We appreciate
You.
you. Any other comments or questions from the public? Okay. Future meeting dates will be determined and board committees will be determined at this point. We do meet once a month for business, but that will be dependent on what is on the agenda at that time. So, okay. All right. Thank you all for joining us virtually. We appreciate your participation. Take care and stay well.